My name is Helen. I am a weaver. I make beautiful cloth and blankets. I am 32 years old. My husband is Barnaby. He's 35. He's kind and very smart. Barnaby works with numbers. He is a bookkeeper for a large shop. Many people think our life is perfect. But we have a secret problem. Barnaby wants a family. He wants to have children and be a father. He often talks about the happiness a baby would bring. But I do not want children. I want to be the best weaver in the city. My work is very important to me. I want to focus on my career. I love Barnaby, but I want my freedom and my work. This difference makes me sad. We do not fight loudly, but the sadness is always there. Barnaby's mother, Mrs. Agnes, loves us. When she visits, she always asks one question. She smiles and says, "When will you give me a grandchild?" Her words makes my heart feel heavy. I smile and say, "Maybe soon." Everyone laughs, but I feel afraid. Barnaby looks happy. He really wants a family. When I'm at my loom, working, I feel strong. My co-workers respect me. But when I come home, I feel small. I smile at Barnaby, but he does not know how I truly feel. I am afraid of losing myself if I become a mother. One day, a new customer came to my shop. His name was Edric. He travels a lot and makes maps. I had to weave a special design for him. We talked, and Edric told me about his life. He said he travels all the time and does not want children. I was surprised. This was the first time I met someone who felt the same way as me. Edric and I started drinking tea after work. He listened to me carefully. He understood my dream to be a great weaver. When I was with him, I felt strong again. Soon, people at the shop started to notice. They watched Edric and me. I knew this was dangerous. I was a married woman. I should stay away from him. But I liked myself more when I was with Edric. One evening, I was home with Barnaby. He saw a note on my table. It was from Edric about the map design. Barnaby's face turned red with anger. "Why is Edric sending you notes?" he asked loudly. I froze. I couldn't speak. Then Barnaby shouted, "Is he the reason you don't want children?" My heart beat fast. I wanted to tell him it was not true. My choice about children was mine, not Edric's. But Barnaby was too angry to listen. After that night, Barnaby became quiet and distant. At my work, my co-workers whispered about me. My marriage was in trouble. Barnaby gave me a final choice. I had to stop seeing Edric, and I had to promise to start a family with him. If I did not agree, our marriage would end. My heart was broken. I sat alone and thought, if I chose Barnaby, I would keep my husband and my home. But I'd have to live his dream, not my own. If I chose the other way, I would keep my freedom. I could be the great weaver I wanted to be, but I would lose my marriage. After many sad days, I went to Barnaby. My hands were shaking. I looked into the face of the man I loved. Tears came to my eyes. This was the hardest moment. I took a deep breath. Barnaby, I love you very much, I said. But I cannot be the woman you want. I cannot give you the family you dream of. I do not want children. This is my truth. Barnaby looked at me. He said nothing. His face showed only sadness. His silence told me the answer. Our marriage was over. The life we had planned was finished. But even with this deep sadness, I felt a quiet peace. For the first time, I had chosen myself. People might not understand, but I would not live a lie anymore. Being true to yourself is the only way to find real happiness. Helen left the cottage. Barnaby stayed behind. It was his home, a place built for the family he always wanted. She took only her clothes, a few special books, and her loom tools. She woke up when she wanted. No rush to make Barnaby's breakfast. No need to smile falsely. She could go straight to her loom. The light from the window was for her work alone. This was the freedom she had dreamed of. She worked long hours. She finished her large commission for Edric and started new beautiful projects. Her talent grew. People at the guild stopped whispering and started admiring her cloth. Helen is a master, they said. She felt strong. She felt successful. She still met Edric for tea sometimes. They talked about maps and cloth and how good it was to be free. But their friendship did not grow into love. Edric was a good friend, but he was always ready to travel and leave. He was not at home. The first weeks were bright, but as autumn turned to winter, the days became short and cold. Helen's room had only a small fire pit. She often ate alone, a simple piece of bread and cheese. In the cottage with Barnaby, dinner had been a time for quiet talk and warmth. Now, the silence was heavy. She would look out her small window at the dark street. There was no sound. There was no one waiting. The silence was the worst. At Barnaby's cottage, she used to hear his soft breathing in the dark. Now her nights were empty and long. The fire died down quickly. The shadows seemed big and cold. She was not used to being completely alone. She started to miss the small things. Barnaby's careful steps when he came home from the merchant house, the smell of his ink and paper, even the small, steady rhythm of his life. She had thought his life was boring. Now her own life felt too quiet. I have my dream, she told herself. But who can I share it with? She thought about Barnaby's mother, Mrs. Agnes. She missed the warm smile and the gentle questions. Even the questions about children now felt like a wish for her happiness, not a demand. One icy afternoon, she closed her loom. The urge was too strong. She had to see him. She walked through the snow to the quiet part of the city where the cottage stood. Her feet were slow. Every step was hard. When she reached the cottage, she stopped behind a tall oak tree. The light was on in the window. She could see Barnaby through the glass. He was sitting at the table. He was wearing the same heavy blue coat he always wore when he worked late. He was not working now. He was just sitting. His face looked thinner. His shoulders looked heavy. He was holding a small wooden item in his hands. It was a little horse he had carved years ago, a toy he once said he would give to their first child. When Helen saw him, silent and alone, holding that small toy, all her strength broke. The strong master weaver was gone. She was just a woman full of sorrow. She ran to the door and knocked hard, not waiting for him to open it. When Barnaby opened the door, he looked surprised and cold. "Helen?" he said, his voice flat. Tears streamed down her face. She stepped into the warm light and put her hands over her face. "Barnaby, I am so sorry," she cried, not for leaving, but for the pain she had caused. "I chose wrong. I am so lonely. My freedom is cold. I miss the sound of your life." Barnaby's face was hard at first. He looked angry, then hurt. "You made your choice," he whispered. "You chose your work over me." She looked up, her eyes full of tears. "I chose my dream," she said, "but I didn't know my dream would be so empty without you." His anger melted. He saw the real sadness in her eyes. He saw the cold she carried. He took the wooden horse and placed it gently on the table. Then he stepped forward and pulled her close. They did not talk about the future that night. They just held each other. They were happy to be warm. They were happy not to be alone anymore. They started a new life slowly. Helen kept her small room for her work, but she spent every evening at Barnaby's cottage. She still loved to weave. But now her work felt good for their life, not bad for it. Barnaby loved her even more now. He saw that she must weave. He saw that her work made her happy. Helen also saw Barnaby in a new way. His calm, steady love was the home she truly needed. One morning, after many months, Helen woke up. She felt a little sick. She went to see the doctor. The doctor did a simple test. Helen came home with a small, quiet smile. She sat Barnaby down at the table. She held his hand tightly. "Barnaby," she said softly, "you need to carve one more small wooden horse." Barnaby looked at her. He didn't understand at first. Then his eyes opened wide. He understood. He smiled the biggest, most joyful smile she had ever seen. The cold, lonely nights were over. Helen and Barnaby were finally ready to make a family together.